Hi, this is Ida, Smart Money Coaching. And if you find yourself, you're working really hard, but you feel like you're stuck living paycheck to paycheck, you pay everything, your mortgage or rent and all the bills. By the time the end of the month, there's really nothing left for you and you have nothing to show for. Where if this is your situation, you are the right place, and I will be sharing from my own personal experience how I was able financially to be very well successfully. Share and subscribe, and so other people could like as well, and other people can get this opportunity and to help themselves as well. So again, thank you for watching. This is Ida from Smart Money Coaching. So my case, it was about 6 years ago. Right after my divorce, I got my own apartment, and I have to sit down for the first time for a long time. I have to sit down and try to do my own budgeting. And imagine living from, I moved from Africa, from Ethiopia, and our household and majority of our households, it's not something you talk about finance with the children, and we just assume like, hey, we don't want to burden or stress our kids, so that's not something, a talk or conversation that I don't recall when I was in high school. After moving in US, I do remember my mother talked about save for the rainy day. So I knew that means, for emergency or in case if anything happens, but nothing about compounding, nothing about investing. All I know is about just saving. When you're just saving, and what happened is you start, because of inflation, your money, if you just put it in a regular bank and saving account or no checking, your money is not really going to grow, so it's not really going to be changing much of your life. And but that's all I knew about it. In high school, I did not learn about finance, nor in college as well. So fast forward, after my divorce, I sat down, wrote down, was like, okay, those are the things that I need, what I need to pay, which is my rent and my utilities, my car note, my credit card bill. After I listed everything, I worked full time. I worked very hard, and there was really, by the end of the month, there was really nothing was left for me. And I say to myself, well, this is really not acceptable because I work so hard, and one day if anything happens and my income stops and I'm in really big trouble, there was really nothing even for my future that being saved. So I knew one thing that I was lacking about the financial education. So this is one of my main reasons that I started this channel, and to teach other people who are a similar position that I was in the past, and how I was able successfully to navigate about the personal financial financial and budgeting, and investing as well. So after that, I knew there's something I was lacking. It's about the finance part. So it was right after COVID, and so there's really nothing much. Everyone is stuck in their homes and after work, and there was really nothing much I can do. So I said, okay, this needs to be my goal. I do need to invest. I need to learn more about my finances. So I'll tell you one thing, it really helped me to change my life, and for me to pay myself first before I pay anything else. So while I was doing that, trying to find any YouTube channel, anything talks about financing, I came across this website called Dave Ramsey, and it was really eye opener for me. And when I was listening to a callers, they were calling and asking him and about their loans, and I was like, oh my God, I'm doing everything wrong. I have credit card bills, I have car notes, and I'm not investing for my future. It's just like everything I was doing, is I realized that what I was doing is completely wrong. So that's where I say to myself, okay, now I know what I don't know. What I know is everything I'm doing is wrong. So how is it the right way of doing it? So in terms of the bills, I list them up and I said, okay, do need to pay from, I did a snowball method. That's like paying your minimum, the lowest payment. I listed from my lowest to highest. And by doing that, I would start paying off my loans. Then another thing I needed to know, but it was about investing. How do I invest? Where to invest? Where do I even get the money to invest? Because when I put all my expenses down, everything I did, there was nothing really much left for me. So that was one of the things that was concerning me. Then I start looking back my previous months to see where the money was exactly going. And so I start budgeting how much is really that I need for my groceries. How much does it really, all my fixed incomes, my fixed expenses, I start writing it down. So that's when I realized, when I'm looking at my previous month on my account, that's where I saw, like, wait a minute, I have all the subscriptions I'm not even using. Those money could have been invested. So I start canceling all my subscription and writing it down, like, to see how much money, that's all that was being totaled, as well as the cable. And I was like, okay, you know what, at this time cable's not that important for me. For some of you that might be important, I completely understand, but for me at that time it was not priority. My priority was investing for myself. So I canceled my cable. Anything I need, I have my Wi-Fi, so I get to use anything I need to watch, anything I need to listen, then I can have it on YouTube. So I was able to cancel that, and whatever that I from the cable payment, as well as the subscription that I canceled. And I was like, okay, I have this much money to invest, but how do I invest? How is the money going to grow? So I started searching more books about investing, and I came across this author. His name is David Bach, B-A-C-H, and I'll list it below his books as well, and his name. And one of them was like Smart Woman Finish Rich. And when I read that book, I realized that, wait a minute, yes, I'm starting late in my 40s, but I will be able to, even though I'm starting late, I'll be able to get to my goals. So I said, okay, you know what, I'm going to be starting doing this. And also there's another book that I remember, The Automatic Millionaire. That was awesome. And instead of figuring it out, and that's something, if I do automatic investing, and one of the places that I can invest is on my retirement account. So my advice will be, like, anywhere, do you have any subscription that you're not using, or is it something else that you're maybe eating out a lot? So look at it and where your money is. I'm not saying like, hey, you have to cut everything down, but try to look at it and say, okay, you know what, if I'm eating out 5 times a week, maybe I should do it twice a week. Just looking at it where the money is spending. So in that case, that you can pay yourself first. So on David Bach, he talked about it, how you should be paying yourself first. And he said the first hour that you're working, that should get into your investment. So I reached out to my 401. So you can, there's like Fidelity, depends on depends on the place where you work and or it could be Vanguard, or it could be Schwab, Charles Schwab. So you have to look at it like what it is, if it is your employee, if they have it, and then you should start. Even if that is a $20 you started, you have to start somewhere, and then every time you should be able to try to figure it out every month, and then start increasing it by 1%. So I say to myself, okay, maybe I cannot. You should have at least a minimum of 15% of your salary to increase, to be able to invest it. But what I said is, I might not be able to do 15% at one time, but I know one thing I can do right away would be started 1%. If I start doing 1% every month, I can increase it. So that is something that really worked for me, and I start putting it automatically. And every time that I'm getting a raise from my job, instead of taking that taking that money and then change my lifestyle and upgrading things, oh, okay, now I'm getting paid more, so therefore let me change my car, let me change instead of doing that, I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm going to live below my means, and I'm going to go ahead and, if whatever the amount percentage increase I have, instead of taking it, I start putting that to my 403 account. Just letting you know, there's a 401, 403, 457. That's just really basically if you work more for a private sectors, that it's more 401. If you work for states or federal, that's might be for 403 or 457, or you might have both. So that's where the difference are, and as well, and those are those monies are saved before tax. So it doesn't mean you're not going to pay tax for it. That just means a tax is deferred. When you're putting it, you don't really pay tax. Whatever amount, it's the tax is being deducted from it. But this is tax defer account, which means you will pay tax later on when you're when you're taking the money out when you are retired. So then your income is going to be lower, so the taxable wouldn't be as much. So anyway, so that is one of the account I start putting in there, and then until I reach really to max it in a yearly. So if you the yearly is for a 403 or for 401, it's for a majority is like $23,500 that you can save in a year. And as well as I start putting money on my Roth. Roth is after tax. You already paid for it and you invest the money, and this is if you can get it through your job, or if you work for yourself, you can also open an account. I'll talk about it another day more in details how you can open this account on your own. So I started maxing out, and usually for the Roth there is a limit. If you are 50 under 50-year-old is, I believe for this year, is around like 7,000. And then if you are over 50 years old, there is a catch-up that's about, this year is, I believe it's $8,600. So those are after tax, which is any of those growth, any compounding the interest you have, when you're taking it out at least 59 and a half year old, that will be no tax. So when I found out that, I was like, oh my God, I should have started this long time ago. But that's okay. It's never too late. I would rather start it now, having as much instead of not starting it at all. So those are the two places I started start investing, and I wanted to make sure that I'm maxing it out on both accounts. So that is really helped me a lot. Also, I'll talk about another on another times about the brokerage account as well. That's like something how you can do an index, like the index account and stocks and stuff, but I'll discuss about it in the future. But today I just wanted to focus and talk about how you pay yourself. So it's very important. We're working really hard, and we should be paying ourselves before we pay everybody else. So it's not too late at all. You can see it. The first, I believe on my 403 account, the hardest thing was until I reached 100,000. The moment I reached 100,000, it's just like the compounding interest, it just goes up. So that is like my priority, and that's something that really did work for me, and I was able to understand. So so what are you doing, and how are you paying yourself? Are you paying yourself, or are you paying everybody else? And another thing is that really would help is when you're listing all your expenses, your fixed expenses, which are like either the rent or mortgage, your insurance, gas, and utilities, and everything. When you list it, those are like your responsible things you have to pay. That should not be more than 50 to 60% of your take-home pay. If that is more than that, and what happened is you paying too much. Maybe you have a too much mortgage. Maybe you have a too much. If you're renting, maybe your rent is too much. So that's where like your fixed income should be no more than 50 to 60% from your take-home pay. And then I do my 30%. That is my investing. That's not a negotiable. I work really hard, and I just wanted to make sure that that will be combined with my 401. My 403, as well as Roth, and if I have to do any personal brokerage and account or what have you, that's the money will go to the 30%. That is for me, it's the 30%. You don't have to start at 30%, but you can start it with 5%, 10%. Start going and increase it, and you'll be very surprised at how much that really would grow for you. So. And then, and my 20%, that is my fun money. The 20% is I do what I like to, what I enjoy. And of course, that is one of the things I enjoy is the traveling for me. Traveling is going out of the country. That's something I enjoy. I have a separate account. I put on my traveling fund a certain amount of money every month. That's automatically goes to my account. And in that case, so when we're traveling, then it's not something we put it on our credit card. That's something budgeted for. And then I work through my budget, whatever it is in there. So that's how that could be for travel, that could be going out for fun, for restaurant or what have you. But that's majority. I use that for my fun money. So I don't know what is your fun money. Do you really have a budget? Do you really plan to see did you write it down and see where is your money's going? Look at your account previously, and you'll be very surprised how much money you'll be able to find there. Things like, oh my God, I didn't know I paid for this, I paid for that, I paid for this. All these things, it could have been started for your own future. So and I wish if I have known this a long time ago, but that's okay. I learned it through, but and there is a say, the same hot water, either it can boil an egg, or it can boil an egg and it will make it harder, or it can boil the potato and makes it softer, right? Any situation that you're going through, and those are like something like okay, you know what can I do? What can I learn? How do I make myself better? Don't feel like you're being stuck. If you write it down and then you looked at everything, it's like literally you're not really having much of any money that you can find. Maybe your income could have been an issue. Maybe you're not bringing enough income. If you're not bringing income, think about a side hustle that you can do. I'll talk about it in the future more, but anything you can do from home, anything you can, starting broadcasting, a YouTube channel, or it could be doing any side job, dog walking, or anything. There's a lot of things you can do as a side job, or consulting, whatever that job you're doing, and then try to figure it out. How else can I do and increase my income? And that's very important to pay off your debts, and then also starting investing for your future. So the website, it's called smartmoneyforyou.com, and I'll list it below. And if you need a one-to-one coaching, and please go ahead and send me a message in there, and I'll be able to guide you just like I did for myself, and as well as I had helped other people as well. And I really appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe so I can go ahead and create more of those content in terms for about personal financing and budgeting and investing. Again, thank you for being with me. This is Ida from Smart Money Coaching.